Greetings, everyone. This is Rock and Roll Spot Connection with the Billy Comic Roundup. We've got a decently sized haul this week, so let's get started. Kicking things off, we've got Storm and the Brotherhood of Mutants number 3, wrapping up the Sins of Sinister tie-in series. Where we left off in Sins of Sinister, Sinister had arrived at the World Forge with the Empress of the Empire of the Red Diamond in hot pursuit. So, the basic idea is that Sinister means to resurrect Storm. The plan being to wipe out but all in all, the full plan is wipe out the Moira engine. So they have a modified version of the 5. Crown of the Commander, Bloodrot the Bone Shaper, Janae Mind Flayer, Old Oba, and Core of the Burning Heart. Storm, of course, is utilized. Her memories, however, are because they don't have the backup as a traditional Krakoan resurrection. They have to use the memories of Ironfire's John Ironfire's memories of Storm. We have an explanation of the various chimerae that have been assigned to the Red Diamond Queen. We have High Summers, which is consists of Cyclops, Havoc, Vulcan, and Living Monolith, granting force projection, energy projection, energy control, energy absorption, and height manipulation. Certain capability is Perpetual Energy Loop Siege Tower. Then there's Loud Hailer, which consists of Lotus Logos, Siren, Frenzy, and Random. So you get Lotus Logos' metallic voice, Siren's vocal projection, Frenzy's strength, speed, and durability, Random's melee ability, and counter adaptation capability, extreme firepower, and shield wall. Then there's Hot Claw, consisting of Feral, Thorn, Mercury, and Pete Wisdom. The exterior capability, Unstoppable Close Quarter Attack. And Sage Advisor, Sage, Captain Britain, Betsy, Artie, and Multiple Man. Infinite information processing and communication. So, Emma's forces attack the World Forge, and she bonds with the whole thing, becoming the Blood Diamond Monarch. Basically, a master mold. Mistress mold, she calls it. But Storm is unleashed. And, well, she manages to defeat Emma. And the issue ends with Sinister shooting John Ironheart. So we noted that Storm, the resurrected Storm, burned herself out, defeating Emma. So the Sinister is definitely shaping up to an interesting conclusion, which should be coming out in a couple of weeks. And we've got Nightcrawler's number 3 to wrap that arc up next week, followed by Sinister Dominion. Moving on, though, to our next book, we've got Baby Wolverine, Deadly Regenesis. Where we left off, Laura Kinney was attacked by a man named Haymaker, who is being basically handled by Kimura, but has a personal axe to grind against Laura. So we get some of Haymaker's backstory. He is an MMA fighter, and his brother paid for his training, but they weren't exactly from somewhere that they weren't exactly in a position where training was something they could just easily spend money on. So his brother took some questionable jobs, working for a crime boss, which led to him eventually being killed. He's been given a gas weapon by Kimura, which turns off Laura's healing, and he's able to put a beating on her, and also stab her in the gut. But Haymaker saw his brother killed by Laura, swore revenge, so he delivers quite the beating, keeping her knocked out. When she comes to, she's been delivered to Kimura. That is where the issue ends. So far, this is a fun little book. I do enjoy getting it. I do enjoy stories that took place, between other stories. It's always fun, in my opinion. Moving on, though, to our next book, we've got X-Men number 21. Where we left off, Jean Grey discovered that Nightmare was responsible for setting the Brood back along their previous ways, while Cyclops, Sync, Iceman, and Firestar, and Talon were dealing with refugees who had been from recent Brood attacks. But those refugees had all been infected. We open up with the remarks that are from an early meeting of the Krakoan war captains from Scott Summers, Cyclops. The Brood deserve no quarter. They take everything from you. We have the power to end their threat, and we should use it. Also, another point to make. Monet and Forge had managed to get aboard Nowhere, which had fallen into a black hole. So they brought Nowhere back to they figured out a way to bring Nowhere back to somewhere, while Jean is dealing with Nightmare. This is apparently all because of Jean laying hands on him during Doctor Strange's recent death. But he's defeated, though he leaves Jean with some parting words. What is one will be two by the end of the day. And she'll still have the fall of her kind to witness. So, Magic teleports them out, back on the X-Men's ship. the refugees, well, they hatch. It's explained that they can't, they don't have time to perform surgery on all of them, and Sync has a plan, jettisoning all the refugees into space. We then get the minutes, I guess, from the War Council or the War Captain meeting on the Brood. Cyclops and Bishop have a very hardline stance on the matter, with an idea, with him, yes, coming up with an idea. Scarlet Witch is, they've got her. They can make a copy of Scarlet Witch. So why not make a husk of her with all of her powers intact, and then have a telepath take over and simply say no more Brood. Cyclops feels this is worth discussing, but Psylocke asks if Cyclops wrote it or Beast or Dark Beast even. And Magic says, hey, yeah, if Brood loses grip on the Brood, I'll do what I can to take him to fight him. But she's not down for Scarlet Golem. The X-Men Magic arrives with Jean and Brew on Nowhere, and then the five of them are then teleported by Magic to Cyclops' ship, where Cyclops basically says that they're about to kill the Brood once and for all. And Brew clearly objects. Jean tries to talk sense to him, but yeah, Scott's not really having it. And he says that he thinks wiping out the Brood is a good idea, which Jean says is very human of him. Forge mentions telepathically to Jean that he just created a safe, empty bit of real estate in orbit around Jupiter, Nowhere. And so Jean and Brew discuss this. They go to save what Brew can pull sway over, and they're given Nowhere to call their home. Basically, kind of saying, and kind of told, hey, stay out of sight, and get some sleep. And that is where the issue ends. That was something. That was definitely something. Moving on, though, to our next book, and still dealing with the Brood, we have Captain Marvel, number 48. Where we left off, to free Binary, Carol had to take her place in the Brood Empress's clutches, and it seemed that they were working on a plan to at least maybe try and at least stop the Brood and possibly even get out of there. So Carol is dealing with being back in the clutches of the Brood, while her allies are dealing with the Brood personally. But Binary is still unconscious. However, Gambit has an idea. Since Carol has energy absorption powers, it stands to reason Binary has the same abilities. So he transfers some kinetic energy to her, which wakes her up. She's told what's going on, and Psylocke tries to get into Carol's mind to help her get out, but the Brood Empress impales her, And as she's connected to the rest of the strike team, everyone feels it. And so Rogue's got a plan. But he's got a couple of spacesuits. Meanwhile, Carol's trying to get out of the mental aspect of being in the Brood's clutches. And Binary ain't having this, and she attacks the Brood Empress. Thunderbird shows up though, depositing Rogue and Hazmat in their spacesuits, adding to the cleanup. However, it seems that Binary's attack on the Brood Empress wasn't as didn't do the job, and in fact, seemingly killed Binary. Binary helps guide, in Carol's mind, Binary helps guide Carol out of the Brood force clutches, and upon learning that Binary's dead, well, Carol's pissed. And that is where the issue ends. And yes, the issue of X-Men we just went over will be leads directly into next month's issue of Captain Marvel. Moving on, though, to our next book, we've got, actually our last book we've got Captain America Cold War Alpha. So, where we've left our Captain's America, Sam Wilson recently stopped the White Wolf from taking over Mahanda, eventually turning White Wolf over to the International Criminal Court. Stateside, C. Rogers stopped a plot from the Outer Circle to take over Manhattan, utilizing MODOK. And helping Sam in his recent adventure to Mohanda was none other than Ian Rogers, Steve's son from Dimension Z, who said he was going to go look for his old man when he got back to the States. After defeating the Power and MODOK, Steve Rogers was reunited with his son Ian. It was also revealed that Peggy Carter, the Dryad, is one of the Outer Circle's star points. So we begin the revolution freeing the White Wolf. And the White Wolf says he's willing to help the revolution with his plans, but he wants the throne of Dimension Z. So Steve and Ian are having breakfast, but Steve notices something's up, explaining that little things he makes note of. Namely, the main point being that Steve and Ian are alone. An explosion in the diner they're in has been caused by Peggy, who's taking Ian prisoner. She teleports away. Sam Wilson shows up, and Sam, Steve, Misty, Sharon, and Sharon Carter discuss what they're going to do, with Sharon explaining they took down that she had taken down a bunch of militias in Alaska, and well, it seems that's where the Outer Circle is making their move. Ian is having an element of his bloodstream, his genetics removed, which White Wolf ingests and declares to become the king of Dimension Z. Those various militia groups have banded together under one banner and seem to be under two banners and are basically fighting among each other. Steve guesses tryouts for a new private army for the Outer Circle. How exactly did he word it? The Tithes, yes. But they managed to take down a good number of the tryouts, and a portal from Dimension Z opens, and some of its denizens step out. With Steve and Sam realizing that both Bucky and the White Wolf are involved. And Bucky stating that part of his plan is the death of both Sam and Steve. Though he won't be smiling, he will be winning the game. And that is where the issue ends. The crossover will be continued in this month's issue of Captain America: Symbol of Truth. Either next week or the week after. Good start to the crossover. I was worried that the crossover was gonna kind of have a Sam and Steve fighting it out, Sam and Steve disagreeing over methodology and coming to blows. But I'm glad to be that, at least for the moment, I'm mistaken. Anyway, that's going to do it for now. As always, feel free to like, share, and subscribe. Links to my Facebook, Twitter, Patreon, and PayPal can be found in the description box down below. This is Rock and Roll Spock signing off, saying, live long and rock hard.